I believe he's got like a 2-to-1 ratio wins to losses, maybe even a little bit better. I was glancing at his record before we came on, so he's definitely the quote-unquote ace of Infinity 7. We'll see whether he's able to bring him back from this little bit of a hole.
Yeah, so Dasuki, it is going to be a Zerg versus Zerg, and wow, the game loading up a little bit more quickly as Dasuki spawning as the what I would call the teal Zerg player over here at the 9 o'clock position. Meanwhile, Echo is or Jekko. Is it Jekko?
I think it's Jekko.
Okay, Jekko spawning as the pink Zerg. Perhaps someone will message us and let us know how exactly to say their names. And in a Zerg versus Zerg mirror match, this is one of those games where your timing on whether to drone up or produce an army is so critical. We'll see what's going to happen. In a Zerg versus Zerg, there's so many open spaces and so many open grounds that Zerglings are going to be, just flanking each other left and right.
Take the overlay down so everybody can see the ZVZ. I'm not sure whether we've got the power of words to describe exactly what happens, so that people can just get our meaning from our words. I'm sure they want to see as well.
All right, I'm sure we could try, but let's use moving pictures to talk a lot about this game as this game does get underway.
Yeah, so I mean, basically the first decision is when they pool, when they gas, and it looks like both players probably going to be going for the 14-14. Actually, Jekko might actually go for a hatch first. He's got the drone count for it. 15 drones, and we'll see whether he sends one down to go hatch first. Yes, he will. And the pool going down for Dasuki, so 14-14 against hatch first, and hatch first typically wins in this matchup. You often have to go for an earlier pool to really punish hatch first, either a 10 pool or if you do go for that 6 pool, definitely build order win against the hatch first. But yeah, Jekko's going to have a decent advantage as long as he can hold any sort of early speedlings which come across the field for Dasuki.
All right, we'll see what's going to happen next. Dasuki is getting 3 harvesters on gas already. He is going to get that metabolic boost almost just 2 minutes right after the spawning pool is completed. But the Zerglings aren't going to arrive into the pace of Jekko for quite some time, so perhaps Dasuki may try to be a little bit more aggressive. I have seen some Zerg players even move in with 2 spine crawlers and try to build a spine crawler at the natural expansion, as normally they can go unspotted if you are not careful, perhaps focusing too much on Zerglings.
Yeah, the other thing you can do with the gas advantage is not only get speed, but yep, here's the early Baneling Nest for Dasuki. So he's on 1 base right now. He's got his Baneling Nest on the way, and he's going to have Banelings and speed even much earlier than his opponent. Jekko already, you got me all screwed up with his name now. Jekko just only has 32 gas at this point, so speed's going to be a little while for him. He is making a spine crawler as he understands that pressure could be coming and his first few lings are out, but as long as Dasuki streams just a ton of lings and gets a few good Baneling shots, he should be able to put some great pressure on Jekko.
Yeah, Jekko already responding with 6 Zerglings of his own. The 4 Zerglings of Dasuki have to be very careful, as the Zerglings are now going to perhaps try to make their way in and around, unable to get up the ramp. There is a spine crawler nearing completion, as Jekko now very heavy in terms of Zerglings, and Jekko has to feel pretty confident right now in the overall state of the game. Unbeknownst to him, there are 2 Banelings now ready to go, but with that spine crawler making its way down, the spine crawler could be able to start detonating those Banelings right as they get into position. You can see that the Zerglings are going after the spine crawler, and now what will be happening here? This is the key question.
Yeah, he really wishes those Banelings were in position a little bit earlier. We'll see whether they're able to get any good shots. There's a great shot, taking down a lot of Lings, but that spine crawler will not go down anytime soon, and we'll see whether Dasuki is going to stream more Lings across the field. Right now, he just has 4, actually just 1 Ling, and a lot of Banelings coming in, so hoping to take down maybe a drone or 2, or maybe get another shot on the Lings for Jekko, but yeah, Dasuki's early pressure there not really paying off too well, and he is going to be behind economy-wise. It's 22-23, but Jekko has already had his hatchery up for a little while longer. His speed's about to finish, and his Baneling Nest is about 2/3 the way complete.
All right, we're going to see that the Zerglings are now going to try to come in around the backside. Banelings are ready to go. 2 Banelings ready to go. But 1 Baneling right behind here. What are all these Zerglings doing? They are just dancing back and forth as there was going to be 3 Banelings and against a whole bunch of Zerglings here. The 3 Zerglings could try to trade. This is looking rather dangerous as 1 Baneling may fall to, and taking out 2 Zerglings as well. But in comes a sea of Zerglings coming in from the other side. And now Jekko going straight into Dasuki's base. And Dasuki is in trouble as the Zerglings are now going to try to rip through all of these drones.
Yeah, it was really interesting as now we see Jekko being the aggressor, and there were no defensive banelings. A lot of times players will keep one at the top of their ramp, not take a lot of losses, and just get a huge baneling splash off. But Jekko loses, wow, a ton of lings there, and I'm not sure he was really able to take down too many workers. 4 workers have been killed by Jekko, but Dasuki had actually been droning behind that early pressure, so now he is going to be on the defensive, and Jekko is once again coming in. He's got a baneling of his own, a huge shot there, and all the lings and banelings do die, but Dasuki just lost a ton of drones, 12 drones killed by Jekko so far.
Yeah, brilliantly played, and I also like the fact that Jekko took down Larva at that hatchery as well, so that's going to really start hurting the numbers for Dasuki. You can see that there are currently 2 queens here, a couple banelings, but things have been reset, and Jekko now with a slight advantage. Also, with a 7 or now 9 drone advantage, should be able to move into the mid-game with a very, very strong lead.
It was interesting, Jekko sort of gave away his economic advantage by making those 2 spine crawlers. It cost him 2 drones, and it cost him, you know, just a lot of minerals. And Dasuki didn't really invest too heavily in his pressure, so he was droning up behind it. And if Jekko really didn't take advantage of that timing, I think he would have been a little bit behind. But instead, it's a great timing with just too many lings, too many banelings, and now he's got banelings once again morphing in. He's got 5 of them on the way just to the north of Dasuki's base, so we'll see whether those are able to do any damage. There are a few queens out for Dasuki, hoping to be able to defend, but Jekko once again looking to get aggressive. He's got some lings on the way and some banelings positioned as well.
All right, in come the banelings. Banelings going in after drones. The drones, looks like the banelings not going to be able to really do much, damaging the larva once again, and that's really going to start hurting Dasuki. Dasuki perhaps needs a macro hatch, as Jekko already establishing his 3rd right underneath the overlord of Dasuki.
Yeah, that's a very fast 3rd, and I think, you know, he feels like he's done enough economic damage where if Dasuki decides to all in him at this point, he'll be able to defend and then have a huge advantage. And if Dasuki decides not to attack, then Jekko's going to take that extra base and have the advantage, 3 to 2 bases. So Dasuki at this point really just needs to drone up, maybe even take a 3rd of his own, but it looks like he will try to put on some pressure. And I like this move, at least force some lings and banelings to come out for Jekko, and you know, force him to invest in that. Even if you don't really commit to this attack, you want your opponent to not just be droning heavily.
Alright, but already Jekko now responding with a whole bunch of roaches. The Zerglings are going to try to go for a surround. Zerglings still swarming in here. A lot of damage has been dealt. And who's coming out on top? The roaches going up. But there is the spine crawler and the queen. The baneling's now going to try to perhaps get some damage, but they are not going to be successful at all, as the roaches still don't have movement speed upgrade. The 3rd base, though, looks like it will fall as Jekko may not be able to get over in time. What are the Zerglings doing? Leaving the hatchery alone at 168, and that may have been the game there. A bad decision by Dasuki.
Too many roaches. You know, if there are 4 or 5 roaches, that number of lings can take them down, but not when there are that many roaches. And Dasuki is saying you'd never 15 hatch, and you have a little bit of the mind games. These players see each other on the ladder, so if you've played this guy 20 to 30 times in the last month or so, and you know that he always does 14-14, or sometimes he early pulls, you know, you can really try to metagame him, but that time Jekko going for the 15 hatch, and it paid off.
Yeah, definitely. So we will be going into game number 7 in this best of 7 series, and that game should be ready for you in just a moment.